Hey neighbor, welcome back to Your Past Life, because on this episode of SOS, we're bringing back wallet chains, aggressive scowling, headbanging, and hot topics, since I'm going to be taking a closer look at 7 songs that defined the nu metal explosion. Nu metal was born out of a hybrid of genres, mainly alternative metal, rap rock, and various other styles of rock music that rose up in the 90s, putting a heavy emphasis on image and live performance to perfect that 3 edgy 5 me look that we all miss so dearly. I can joke all I want, but I really do love a lot of nu metal bands, albums, songs, the whole package, as long as the outfits are wild and the music slaps harder than a Catholic school teacher's ruler. Genres come and go, some slip underground before resurfacing years or decades later, and in the case of nu metal, we're actually seeing some love for that dormant style in the 2020s, as artists like Poppy, Bring Me the Horizon, Cane Hill, Tetrarch, and Rina Sawayama have all borrowed from it from some degree, and the results sound pretty fucking cool. I made a Spotify playlist featuring nu metal of yesteryear and present day for you guys to follow, since I obviously cannot fit everything that defined the genre into one single episode, so give that a follow, link in the description down below. But for now, I hope you enjoy this throwback for the scene, show it some love with the like, and share it out if you do. I did my best to pick out not only the most popular songs, but the singles from bands that in some way cemented the legacy of nu metal forever. You could call it a meme song and you wouldn't exactly be wrong, but memes were a thing even before they had an official name, you know? It's a little bit dumb, but the band goes stupid in the best, most devilishly satisfying way possible, like a McDonald's run at 3 a.m. Drowning Pool clearly drove their stakes in, because it wasn't just a one-hit wonder thing either. The parent album Sinner did really well too, but the tragic death of their frontman Dave Williams in 2002 changed the course of history for them and left a gaping hole in the world of nu metal. Wrestling champions have walked out to it, critics have long since mocked it, but it really doesn't matter what they or even I think, because its legacy has already far outlived its life expectancy and then some. Williams may have met his untimely death, but each time you hear that iconic whisper-turn-scream before a blistering riff tears you wide open, you're right back in his world.
This microphone explodes, shattering the mold. Need a drop of hits like they lie over. Get the fuck off the commode with the short shot. Sure to make the bodies pop, drop, but no copper, yo. I'll call this a co-op.
Rap rock established itself in the early to mid-90s, with Rage Against the Machine waving a massive flag of rebellion. In a lot of ways, they paved the road for nu metal before it even had an official name. I picked Bulls on Parade because, of course, it's a classic, and so is that Denzel Curry cover, but the sound they achieved here just went beyond that of rap rock or even alternative metal. You could argue that nu metal became this watered-down genre for posers and dropouts who needed the bare minimum of relatability to skate by on, but that's not where the heart of it all started. Bulls dropped in early 1996, and the impact it had on politics, culture, and music was felt almost instantly. Fans were mind-blown with Tom Morello's guitar solos sounding like a vinyl record being scratched and manipulated, but more importantly, they took the message of tyrannical leaders driving the world for their own personal gain to heart. You've got a beast of a band gunning for justice, with Zach De La Rocha leading the charge with an unmistakable vocal showing. Bulls on Parade is still a direct hit, a stunning moment of change that really did move the narrative for an entire generation.
Angels deserve to die.
This song was originally titled Self-Righteous Suicide, but was later retitled to Chop Suey after the label refused to release it. You know it, you love, and you scream back every nonsensical word at the top of your lungs, and so does the rest of the world, because this song has over 1 billion views on YouTube. Holy shit! System of a Down aren't really a nu metal band. They have nu metal tendencies, this song being perfect evidence, but they're way more heavy metal, alt metal, hard rock if you gauge it based on their entire discography. These rockers captured something insanely special, a moment that cleverly disguises a tough question in the middle of chaotic fun. Why do we judge death so harshly when we don't know someone's life or struggle? Why is it okay to say that they deserve to die if it was suicide, or a car accident, or even a drug overdose? Spoiler, it's not okay, but the media at the turn of the 21st century actively pointed their lens at death with very little sympathy, and System tackled that head on with Chop Suey. Slashing riffage makes resisting a headbang impossible, John Dolmayan is a madman working the drums, and there's a surprising amount of beauty built monolith on top of all of that. You see, if you've never really explored all of their other songs, you're missing out because this isn't just a one-off. They make use of a surprisingly large range of instruments and sounds to add diversity, almost like a song within a song, much like this one, giving it the power of eternal life never to be forsaken. 2003 was peak nu metal, and you know I'm right. The next two songs were both from multi-platinum selling albums that featured a string of hits released that exact year. First up is Going Under by Evanescence, and I know what you're thinking, wouldn't Bring Me to Life be a better example? And you know what? Probably. But that doesn't mean that I'm not fucking sick of that song and talking about that song, so we're going with the better single that deserved an even higher level of success. Amy Lee's towering emotive voice with this dark gothic nu metal sound will never get old. She sails through the highs and lows of the sea, with her band serving as the crew, navigating the unforgiving waters with forceful guitars and beautiful backing vocals that elevate Going Under from the water all the way up to the sky. Atmosphere was a huge part of what made Evanescence stand out in an already crowded world of nu metal bands, and I'd argue that no single from this album did a better job at proving why they were here to blow the doors off with something fresh. The paranoid whispers, the chugging guitar, Amy's stellar voice, the haunting keys and production, they had it all, and the message still resonates with old fans and new to this day.
I'll be here 'cause you're all that I got. I can't the way I did before. Don't turn your back on me.
In the intro, I said nu metal was a hybrid of other genres, and you know that wasn't a coincidence, right? You're watching ARTV, at least one pun per video guaranteed or your money back. Linkin Park became a household name overnight and one of the quickest rises to fame I have ever seen. I mean, what debut album from a relatively unknown band goes fucking diamond with millions of copies sold even outside of the States? It was surreal, and although I've got a lot of love for that first record, I had to pick a single from Meteora instead because it's their best album, and I'm so sorry because I'm not even sorry a little bit. Hybrid Theory sounds dated in a good way, but so does a lot of good nu metal. Meteora though, it doesn't even really sound that dated somehow. The hooks are jaw-dropping, the instrumentation is inexplicably catchy, plus Mike and Chester got even better at tag-teaming the vocals, rapping, and singing, so what better to prove all of these points than by putting Faint on here? Faint was a massive success for Linkin Park and expertly bridged the gap between records. For nu metal, it was a new set of poster boys they knew they could rely on. For the band, it was a stepping stone on the way to a long, triumphant career without ever forgetting their roots. For a taste of how heavy nu metal could go, I landed on Dig by the popular yet often forgotten band Mudvayne. Masks, makeup, and similar influences led people to pit them against Slipknot, who also could have gotten the spot here, but I gave it to Mudvayne instead. I talk about Slipknot all the time. Dig is still loved by millions to this day. The slap bass sounds marvelous here. I love when bassists like Ryan flick or slap the bass. It's just a standout move that helped Mudvayne differentiate themselves. The music video is an absolute acid trip, so maybe if it's been a while, or maybe you've never even heard the song or the band, watch the video with it. I promise you will thank me later. Chad Wolf's voice was still very raw and unkempt in Mudvayne's early years, way before they moved on to more of a mainstream hard rock sound with Lost and Found. The track is short, anything but sweet, and it aggressively claws its way into your psyche where it's gonna stay for a long time until you eventually forget about it, but then you rediscover and repeat the cycle.
I can always say it's gonna be better tomorrow. Falling away from me.
Despair, anguish, rage, it's all got a home with Korn, more specifically on their track Falling Away From Me, a single released from the 1999 record Issues. You're gonna be hard-pressed to find someone that wouldn't label Korn as nu metal. They're practically the heir to the throne when it comes to that crowd, so while I could have put a slew of Korn songs on the list, my gut told me to go away. In all seriousness, this is a very dark moment about child abuse that is just so fucked up beyond belief to even think what a helpless kid could go through at the hands of a parent or guardian. Beating me down isn't a lyric about life taking a toll on us metaphorically. It's quite literally about being beaten down as you bite your teeth trying to hold back the tears, hoping that the pain will end soon. Falling away from me refers to disassociating with your body. You're so ready to die and move on to something so far away from this pain. And with that being said, please, please, please do not listen to this song if you're not in a good state of mind. It's all about trauma and what that does to a victim, and you have to give it up to Korn for never being afraid to go there. I think that's why so many kids back then flocked to them and became lifelong fans. Moving past the lyrics, we have some melting twinges of guitar that feel like a wake-up call. Life is on the line, and it feels like Head Welch is performing an exorcism with his axe. It's a gnarly tune in so many ways. I love the riff, I love the guitar on this track so much, and my hat's off to everyone involved. I talked about the slap bass on the last track, we got Fieldy doing it on this one. It's still very much an emotional, gutting passage, even decades later. Yeah, no Limp Bizkit, Papa Roach, or Stained made the list. I'm sorry to disappoint, but I wanted this to be a list of not only songs that I did love personally, but ones that I feel defined the genre forever, and not just in a cheesy, so bad it's good kind of way. I mean, to each their own. I'm not trying to step on your toes if you do love those bands or anyone else featured, but you can always check out the full playlist link below if you want to hear what I would consider the good stuff. Hey, thank you for watching, I appreciate you. If you take a quick second to smash that like button and turn it blue, I'd be even more grateful, and if you share it out or subscribe to the channel, well, that's just icing on top of an already great cake, neighbor. Shout out to my current $75 Patreon supporters, Sombre Artist, Brandon Barenfeld, and Dayton Hamilton. There's a few recent episodes of SOS floating around me now if you want to check those out, but until next time, I'll see you soon on ARTV.